Hey everybody, welcome. Those of you that might be joining us on Facebook, welcome. Tonight it's all about Quilted Christmas. And I've had this bundle and I've decided to hold off, and I am playing with it with you. I do this sometimes, not very often. Usually I practice a little. So I'm not surprised completely by this machine, by the stamp set, but I want to show you what do you do when you have a brand new stamp set. I haven't had a class on it. You don't know exactly what to do with it. You just liked it and you thought, oh, I'll get that. I have to tell you, I think you need to head to Pinterest. My Pinterest board, I have sketches and sketches. Every sketch that I do, I'm adding more and more to Pinterest. So make sure you subscribe to that and repin it and follow it and all of those other things so that you don't miss anything. And it's a really easy way to find it. But let me share that for a minute instead of the photo. Now I'm still here. I didn't go anywhere. You're just not going to see my desk anymore. And we are now on Pinterest. If you come into Pinterest and you type in the name of your stamp set, I promise you there will be more things than you will ever use or want to know. And that's great. And sometimes they lead to a blog that gives you instructions. 9 times out of 10, they don't. Or they lead to something that's in a different language or really complicated. So I'm going to pick 1 or 2, and we're going to see what we can do to use the picture and the sketch that I provide you with to help you figure out, well, how would I do it? So first of all, let's go to Pinterest, the beginning. And this is my board. If I go to Simply Stamping, Simple Stampin', and then you look at my boards, you want the one that says Simple Sketches, and it's right at the top. And when you click on that, you will see all the sketches that I've done. I tried to grab them in here. I'm still building this. Like tonight's will be in there after class, but they're not there yet. But you can always find something. And when you click on it and then go to the link, it'll bring you to the class that I taught it in, so that you can see how we used it. It takes it a minute, but that way you can see how it was used. Was there a class that went with it? What supplies I used? Everything's right there. So it's not just a sketch. It's hopefully a little more helpful, okay? Now, if we could just get everyone in the universe to do it that way, we'd be good, but we didn't. So that's okay. Come up to search. Now I'm going to show you how to use Pinterest. And then you won't ever need me again. Not true. You always need me because I always need you. We will build this together. So we're going to type in Quilted Christmas. Whoops, we need Stampin' Up in front of it so that you don't just get quilts. Okay. And then it's going to show you lots and lots and lots of cards. Okay? So I kind of like this one right here. It's kind of cute. And if you look at the stamp set, you can see what they used. When life gives you scraps, make a quilt. I like that it's not necessarily Christmas. So that's kind of nifty. I like that it sort of goes with our sketch. We could use our sketch to make it work if we just took this strip and slid it down, and then this circle we move up and it's this quilted piece. So we're going to work on this one, okay? We're going to look at this picture and say, okay. Now maybe there is a tutorial, but we're going to thank Kitchen Table Stamper for giving us the idea, and you're going to use that as your launching board and you're going to go forward. I don't necessarily take a stamp set, a card that I see, and copy it exactly because it's her card. but I'm going to use the idea and I'm going to create my own. Okay? Because I like clean and simple, I love the white. I love the simple background and those colors. You can imagine me that this would be my favorite color, right? Okay, so first things we're going to do, we're going to keep this here. You know what? I wonder if I can. You can't print from here, huh? Can share it. I can embed it, but I can't print it. Okay, so I'm going to save the image just because I think it'll be easier for class if I save it and then we don't have to keep opening this window. And then I'm going to print it. Okay, maybe I'm not. What happened to that? Oh, there it is. Nope, it didn't work. Oh, I thought that would be simple, but oh, there it is. I just had to have to be patient. Patience I don't ever have. And we're printing. We're asking this computer to really think a lot, but let's just print it quick. It'll just be easier if we actually have it instead of trying to do. All right, let's see if that works. If not, I'll keep this here and we'll just come back to it. All right, we're going to stop sharing. And we're going to come back to this one and share. All right, just a sec. That's why I don't want to have to keep popping back and forth. The sharing thing gets a little nuts, gets a little dizzy. Okay, so there we are. And we've got our inspiration. Thank you, kitchen table stamper. So that's what we're going to start with, and we're going to try and make it work. And we're going to use this sketch to make that go. All right. So first things first is we need to decide our colors. What colors do we like? This one was not a Christmas one, but I think I might bring Christmas into it. We'll see. I wanted to use the Quilted Christmas bundle because it has a lot of options. Hold on, I'm just grabbing those pages to show you. It's got some great colors in it if you don't already have this one. All right. So like this one, for example, I love the colors in this, and it's similar to our Pinspiration. It's similar to that. So this is Pool Party and Lemon Lime Twist. So I'm going to bring those colors in just because they're not necessarily red and green. So I'm going to bring in a piece of Pool Party. And instead of Lemon Lime Twist, I'm going to go with Old Olive. So those are the two colors that I'm going to use. And I might want to bring in some pink. So let's see. I'm going to grab my inks. And I might bring in the Lemon Lime Twist. We'll see. I'm going to bring in Old Olive and Pool Party and maybe some Flirty Flamingo. How's that? All right. Not necessarily screaming Christmas colors, but they might work. And I'm going to start with a white card background. So let's move these over. I'm going to keep this here. And I'm going to go with my Whisper White. Let me cut this down. Remember, this is 8.5 by 11, so I'm going to cut it at 5.5. And then I am doing that over here. And then I'm going to score it at 4 1/4. Okay, so now I've got my card base. Right? All right. The next layer, and if you're thinking, well, I don't know if I really need it. See, it's got this tiny extra layer here, and this is done in white. I'm going to swap mine out, and I'm going to do it in my pool party. So my pool party layer needs to be 4 by 5 1/4. So let's get it out from under all my stuff. 4 by 5 1/4. And 4. Okay. So now, something I might add to this card that was not in the Pinspiration is the, I just have to find it, the Quilted embossing folder, which I had out a minute ago and then I put it away. Now I've lost it. Let me find it. I didn't think I had that many embossing folders. Guess what I do? Where are you? Maybe you're not in here. Did I use you over here? Oh yeah, you're right here. I knew I just had it. So we have the Quilted embossing folder, which is going to add a little texture to this one. So remember, when you're using embossing folders, you don't want your magnetic platform. You want your regular platform, the one that comes with a big shot. I'm coming. Sounds like there's a rumpus going on. It's just things are stuck in the drawer for some reason. I have washi tape in my way. Okay, much better. Washi tape out of the way. So I want my regular platform and this, and then I'm going to put this inside, line that up, make sure it's in there straight, and then my top layer, and crank it, whoops, crank it through. Yeah, I think that shows the big shot better than the other way. I think it was too close to the camera. I just have to get used to doing it. Okay, so this is just so cool. I just love the way this looks. Yeah. All right. So now I'm going to take my dimensionals and get that down so I don't lose it. Because you know me. I'll move it 3 times and then it will be gone. Did you ever just have a day when you're just like, you're just smiling? Today's that kind of day for me. I'm just really happy. I love this time of year. I love what I'm doing. I love watching Hallmark. It just really puts me in a good mood. Although people wonder, what is this woman up to? Why is she smiling? Just a smiling kind of day. How's that? All right? So, hey, I'm happy with it right now. But, oh no, we are not done. Okay, back to Pinspiration. So we've kind of added a little something that wasn't there. They've got a strip on the bottom and then pattern paper. Okay, well, what do we have in our pattern paper that will go with our colors that we used? This might go, but it's going to be kind of tiny unless I do the whole strip and I don't do something on top of it. I'm just going to look through and see if there's any others that would work better. These are all reds and greens pretty much. The only one with that blue color in it is this one. So, but I want this strip. So I'm going to be fussy And I'm going to take my trimmer. I'm going to cut right along the bottom. I'm going to shorten those trees, but I don't want to cut the points. Whoops. And then this one. So it's a little wider than what my sketch calls for, but that's what I was saying about you modify things as you go, right? So I'm going to put this here, and I can either do the width of the card, but since it's raised up, I'm only going to do the width of the embossed piece. So this was, if you don't want to measure, you want to look back at your, it's a 1x4. Well, I'm a little wider than 1, but it's going to be 4 inches. So now I can pick and choose what I want. I'm going to go like that. And now I'm going to pop this down right here. Love the colors. Does exactly what I wanted. Let's just try snail and see how it does. It might not work as well because I have this really embossed piece of paper. I might need to do a little trickier. I'm going to go with this for right now. Okay. So now I've done everything except this piece, right? So let's look again at our Pinspiration. And on this one, we've got the when life gives you scraps, make a quilt. Well, I don't have white to stamp that on. I could stamp it on here, but it would look really messy. So I'm going to grab my little labeler, and I got to see how big this is going to be. So I have this. I'm going to just grab a punch that it will fit on. So let's see. It won't go on this cute little narrow one. That's too narrow. But it will go on this one. Oh, and I just got a new punch. Let me show you. I think that's the other reason I'm happy. I got a box of goodies today. I like this new punch, so we're going to use this one. It is Everyday Label Punch. All right, so we'll bring that one out. And we're going to bring this, move you over a little bit. Bring you in because I'm using this is my piercing pad. And I'm bringing that in because this is a photopolymer clear mount stamp. Remember, they don't come with the foam backing that the rubber ones do. So when you stamp, you want to stamp on a little something. And I use the piercing pad to get a better inking. Alrighty. And let's see. Yep, you will fit. Okay. So the first thing I'm going to do is stamp and then use my punch. What color do I want? It's going to go on here, and I want to be able to really see it. So even though I like the light colors, I think I'm going to go with Old Olive. I may wish I went with Pool Party. I'm not sure. So if you don't know, let's do both and see which one we like. So here's a Pool Party version. I know it's upside down. And then a quick cleanup. Stamp and Scrub. Love the Stamp and Scrub. And an Old Olive. And then we can decide which one we like. Make sure you've got it inked up pretty well. All right, so there's the two. I think the old olive shows up a little bit better. I could have used black. That would have been okay too. And remember, you take your punch, unlock it. I love the simplicity of punches. I mean, I'm a big shot girl, but punches work great too. So now when I get this in here, punch them both and see which one we like. I think it's this one. Now, it looks a little, it's okay. It's a little bigger than I wanted. So what can I do to kind of fix that? It's a little bigger than I like, but that was the size punch that I had. And I probably could have found 100 other things. But can't I just trim that down a little bit? I'm going to take my trimmer. Basically, I'm showing you what goes on in my head. I'm going to take my trimmer and I'm going to line this up, make sure it doesn't wiggle, and I'm going to cut from here to here. Now, I could try and do it with scissors, but I might not get it straight. I need a little trim. All right, and then I'm going to do the same thing on the other one, going from point to point. Right? Still cute, still like the label, but I like that it's not quite so big and it looks better on there, right? So cool. Then I'm going to grab, and not those, some of my sparklies. Debbie says you could ink the edges. I was thinking about that, Debbie, too. You absolutely could. Oh, all right, we will. I was going to say we're running out of time, but you know what? We're not. We got all kinds of time. So let's do that. Bring this in, and we will grab, you can either use the sponge dauber, and if you don't have a clean one, I always keep this so that I can make myself a new one. And I'm going to grab my old olive. Now I could have used another color, but I tend to be matchy-matchy. And a little bit of old olive. And then you start rubbing off and then just grab a little bit of the edge. Less is more. And just kind of rub all the way around. Debbie, you could do it on the ink pad. I get super messy, but you can try it. I make a big mess. Let me try it actually, to show you how much of a mess I can make. Where's the this one? You can just do the edges like this, right? A 100 years ago, Quick Quotes had these really great chalk inks that I loved, and I still made a mess. But this looks kind of cool too, right? So let's see what we've got for our different looks. So here's our card. We have this one, right? I like the size of that one better, but let's see what this one looks like. And this one, you could use either one, to be perfectly honest. You could. Either way, it looks pretty good. Just make sure that you dry them before you put them down, okay? And then make sure the ink is dry. Like, just let them sit for a minute before you put them on your card, because you could get them all over. All right, so there's that one. I'm going to bring, you can never go wrong with bling. I'm going to bring in a little bit of bling on either corner. If your fingernails are not coordinating with you, you can use, this is crooked, you can use the paper piercer to pick them up. Okay, so my card's looking pretty good before I even got to making the quilt part, right? I'm loving the colors. All right, so let's go back. Remember, we're going to do this part, which is 3 by 3, which works with our die cuts and our stamps. So this is the die cut that we're going to use, and we're going to do some stamping. So let's move you. We're not going to put you too far away. We're going to move you so you don't get dirty. And we're going to bring in a piece of our Whisper White. Now remember, I said I need to stamp on something. And this gets a little tricky, figuring out what your stamps are. But once you do it, it's so cool. All right, so here's our stamp set. We want this one is the big piece. This coordinates with that thinlet, and it's going to cut it out, okay? So let's get myself my stamp pad. There. Now, I want my stitching to show. I don't want to bring in another color, so I'm going to use my Old Olive. I could use black if I wanted it to be even more bright, but let's see how the Old Olive does. Again, I'm a real matchy-matchy person. And I'm going to make sure that I've got this all inked. And I do. And I'm going to just come on down and stamp. There's my stitching, right? Super cool. Now it's time to do my quilt. So I have two. I have the stripes and the polka dots. So there's the stripes. And here's the polka dots. And I have to figure out my color choices. Well, remember I said I've got Flamingo, Lemon Lime Twist, and Pool Party, which has disappeared. What did I do with Pool Party? Oh, no, over here. And Pool Party, okay? And maybe I'm going to bring in, I might bring in some Old Olive too. So first thing I'm going to do is a Pool Party because that's my favorite. And the trick is, after you get it inked, you got to figure out, it's kind of like putting a puzzle together. Which way does it go? So it takes it a minute. You've got to just figure it out. If you use a darker ink for your stitching, it's easier to figure out where it's going to go. And you just line it up and go with it. If it's off a little, the world does not end. So I'm also going to do, I'm deciding if I want to do another polka dot one in a different color. I do want to do another one in a different color. I just didn't know if I want to do Pool Party in the stripes. Lemon Lime Twist. And I have to count over 2, and I should be right. And go. And then I need my striped pink one. Honestly, if I made a quilt, that's how it would look. It would not line up perfectly well either. And we line it up. Look how cool they look. Isn't it great? And then Old Olive is coming in. Like Old Faithful. Come on, Old Olive. And I'm going to put that one in there. Okay. Now I'm ready to cut it. So remember, I got to switch my plate back to my magnetic plate. Or I'd have to add the thin gizmo. Where is it? If you're not using the magnetic plate, then you're going to add, whoops, sorry, this camera, the thin die adapter. But I'm using the magnetic one, so I'm going to put this down. And then this guy. And then this die and die. This die goes on top, lines up, right? This is stitching lines, and this goes right in the middle. So it's going to emboss, it's not going to cut, it's going to emboss stitching lines. And I just line this up, quilting parts, right? Then I put my cover on, and I crank it through. Okay. So now I have, come back to the close-up. You can see my stitching lines are here. It feels really cool. It's pretty forgiving that I didn't get it perfect. And I need you back. And then this is going to go like this. Maybe I want it off a little bit. Right? And then if I look down in here, you can see this is the needle that I'm going to cut out. And then this is a little bit, I made my own little thread. All right, well, I can do that. It's kind of cute. I like it. I'm going to come over here and find, I know I have that blue twine somewhere in my travels. Huh. Well, I was blue twine. Where would I be? You'd be on a little twine thing. Because I know I have a lot of it. I'm just talking to myself. Don't mind me over here. All right, so we'll use something else. You can always adapt. We'll use our brown twine. I don't know where my blue is. I'll find it after I stop talking to you guys. And it's just on a little piece of cardstock. I'm going to use my pool party. And I'm actually going to punch it and see how big this is. It might be too big. Yeah, it's a little too big. All right, never mind. I'm going to go with a piece of white. And jammer. I did 1.5, which I think might be a little too long, by 2. Let's see what that looks like. Yeah, that's too wide. We're going to go with 1 by 2. And we're going to take our twine and wrap it, and we need to shorten this. So 1 by 2 is too long. Oh, my husband turned the TV down. I'm also thinking out loud. There is, in the Crafting Forever stamp set, this might be cute too to stamp, and you'd have to fussy cut. These don't have a die, but there's some cute ones on there. But anywho, we're good. We're using our Pinspiration. I would not necessarily bother with this. I mean, it's okay, but I don't know that I would necessarily do it. I feel like I need to, I know I'm using big scissors. I feel like I need to do that with it so that it looks a little more realistic. Yeah, I'm spending more time on this crazy thing than the rest of the card. And the reason that I'm doing this is I want you to see that sometimes the Pinspiration is cool, but you can go off. You don't have to do exactly what the card that you looked at is what you're going to do. But in this case, I'm going to try and follow it so that you can see. And I'm going to use some dimensionals to put this on. Right, it is the crazy little details that make this card amazing. And since we're following the kitchen table stamper's idea, we don't want to not give her as good a look as she did. It really is. And honestly, this doesn't take that long. It's really not that hard, as you can see. Get off of there. All right, and now this is going to go like this. Okay, and now I'm ready for the needle. Now remember I said there was that stamp, or the thinlet, I'm sorry, the thinlet for the needle. So there's that. And I just want to double check, is there a stamp for that too? I think there is. Nope. No stamp. So we're just going to cut that thinlet. Now, if we're good, we're going to cut it from some silver so it looks like a real needle. So let's pop up here to the silver step. This is the silver foil. And we're going to run that through here. Really need a little tiny piece for this needle. Okay. If I wanted it a little thicker, I could do 2. Let's see how this looks. Super cute. It's so tiny. Now I do need my paper piercer to get it out because it's super little. There's a little dot right here, a little hole. Come on, you can do it. Get out of there. There it is. Look at it. It looks so cute. I love anything little anyway. And now, can I really thread this needle? Holy cow, maybe I can. If I'd used the blue twine, it would have fit. I'm going to find it as soon as I stop this, you know. Get in, this jute's a little thick. But look, there it goes. All right, let's put this guy down. Isn't this cute? Love it. Now, if you were doing it for Christmas, think about what you could use this other things with this designer paper. You could do stockings out of it, and then you would have quilted stockings using the designer paper with the quilt, or you could use the quilted thinlet. What's cool about this set is there's just so many options. I want you to go over there, and I want you to go right there, right? I need my fine tip glue. Come here. There. Now we lay this little baby down. I know, this is, can you see me knocking this off? So little. All right, once this dries, we'll count to 5, maybe 10. Then I'm going to cut off this extra tail. And we are good. Right? It doesn't show as well to you guys. It shows really good to me. Isn't that cute? Ah, I love it. Okay, so we started and we sort of used this idea, right? Now she also did a little extra stamping and some glitter up here just for pretty, which you could definitely do if you wanted. I think I'm good with it the way it is. But, okay, so there's one. Now, let's look at another option. Let's say, okay, that's great. I don't have time to Pinspiration anybody. I just need to make a card. What can I do? Well, there is another sketch for you, which I threw over here. Let's take this sketch, okay? Oh, right, Linda. I did that. Linda's going to sew all of her Christmas gifts. So yes, you definitely need this one. It will be perfect for that. And you can do it in the different colors. Those of you that are thinking about following me for the 12 days, we will be doing a lot of tags. Because that's always where I fail. That is my biggest thing. I have this grand plan that I'm going to be all done. I'm going to have everything ready, and then I never do. And so the night before Christmas, I'm like a crazy maniac trying to do everything. My family always laughs at me, and I get called Grandmother Murphy, my grandmother, my dad's mom. Yes, Murphy's my maiden name. Grandmother Murphy every year gave somebody a shoebox with a half-done project in it. It might have been a half-knitted sweater. It might have been a half embroidered something. It was always a half-done project with all the supplies in the box, and then you had to give it back to her, and you'd get it like June. So when I do things like that, I get called Grandmother Murphy. She's not here anymore, but she had troubles trying to she had good ideas too. It is now me. So I kind of take that label and say, yeah, so what do you want to do about it? Okay, so I want to show you how this die works. This die is really cute. So we're going to play with this die first, and then we'll figure out where we're going to put it. Okay, so we're just going to test it and see what it looks like. Because until you play with these, you don't really know exactly what it will do. Whoops. All right. So I'm just going to take, we've got a piece of Pool Party here. I'm going to take the piece of Pool Party, and I'm going to set the square die and then drop this quilt piece inside because it fits in the middle. And I'm going to see what it does. So I can tell, what am I going to do with it? So I bring it on through. And honestly, this is really the best thing to do whenever you get something new, is just play with it until you see exactly what it's going to do. So look what this does. Gives me all those little pieces. But I don't want, I mean, I could glue them back in, but I love this. Is that not cool? So now this, move you over here. And this looks like you have spent hours and hours and hours. This is an awesome card because you take this and put it on top of the Designer Series paper, which has left the table. Has left the room. Here it is. Right? Simple. I don't like that color. I did it in the blue. What if I did on this? Would look really cute. I line that right up. Okay. I like that idea. Again, I like light color things. You could do this out of a glitter, or let's put it on top of glitter so that you can see what that looks like. Right? I'd like this out of glitter on top of a dark paper. All right, one more time. We're going to do one more thing, and then we're going to put the card together. So there's that. This new setup is great as far as showing you what's going on. I'm just having a hard time because I turned to the wrong place for everything. But we will get there. I turn and it's on the other side, not there. All right. And we're going to run this through the glitter. I love Stampin' Up! Glitter paper because it doesn't get glitter all over you. It really doesn't. I mean, there's a little, but I'm working with glitter paper, but it really doesn't. I've used other stuff and it's like all over me. This doesn't. Now, this, it doesn't pop out as easily with the glitter. It does. I might run it through a second time, just come back with it. It's fine, but it would be faster if I had done that, but I didn't. What I mean by that is run it through and then don't take it out over there. Just run it back through and you'll get a, it's good and straight. It's just not, I mean, definitely glitter paper rather than regular cardstock needs a little more oomph. Sometimes you need to shim it, but I don't think this would need a shim at all. I think it would need just run through the second time. Okay, and then I'm going to build the card. There, so pretty. Love that. All right, let's move all of you. And I really like this red and the glitter, right? All right, so now I'm going to cut my card. Again, I'm going to use the Whisper White for a nice, simple white background. Again, that's me. I don't know how I can make such a mess with such a short amount of time. I think I pulled out everything I own here for a second. I'm scoring the card now. All right, so there is our card. I don't even know what I did with my thing. And then I need this layer. And remember, I'm following that sketch, the one with the circle. And these will be up there after class. I will put them on the blog for you, and they'll also be in the Pinterest page. So 4 by 5 1/4 is what I want this red to be. So 4 by 5 1/4. All right, and now you're going to go here. Now, I'm kind of, this was a circle, and I'm doing a square, but I'm still going to do the same thing. I'm going to do a strip across here. I don't want it to be something that takes away from this, but I want something that adds to it. I'm going to try ribbon and see what it does. So I've got some really pretty, I've got the silver ribbon, which would look great. Right? And maybe this would look cool like this, kind of through here and come out the other side. I kind of like that idea. Maybe though, I don't want to get so complicated because this is really the star of the show, literally. So maybe I just want to go with a strip of the same pattern paper or something different like this really cool green. Let's do that. It's going to be 1 by 4. Since no one yelled and said, no, don't do that. One by 4. Is going to go right there. Ooh, I do like that too. No, no, go back to the green. 1 by 4. All right, you're going to go here. And I've going to use the 2 1/4 inch circle. Deb, you like the silver ribbon? We could always do this too, which would look kind of cool, and do both. Lots of choices. I'm going to take my 2 1/4 inch circle punch, and I'm going to, this is Have Yourself a Merry Little Christmas, will just fit on there. So I'm going to do that in my real red. And it's going to go on my Whisper White. Okay. And then I gotta make room for my stamp to come in, or my punch, I mean. And line this up, and notice it just barely fits, but it does. Again, our inking around the edge would add to it. I'm going to cut this right straight off. So it's only going to be like half a circle. Now I could have used a thinlet. There. Now I have this, which has to go on here, and ideally I would use my really thin but I don't want to have to spend hours doing it with you guys, so I'm going to do that. Then I'm going to grab one of the glimmers. I had a different one. No, I don't. I thought I had a bigger one. But we'll take one of these, and you're going to go right in the middle. Then there are some other cool embellishments that I want to add to this. Like, I'm coming. Like these guys. A little big for a gift that I'm going to mail, but they might look kind of cool in there. We also have these great embellishments. I'm coming. These, which would look really pretty in the middle. So 2 totally different cards. Following, I'm still doing one more thing. This. I think I want it in the silver though. The silver tinsel would look really cool. Even my twine would look good. I know I'm a twine girl. I live in Vermont. We like twine. Where's the edge? I don't know. There it is. This would look really cute right across the top with a bow. Like so. And then I'm going to pull out that gold. I don't like the gold. These little stars, they do come in gold and silver. But I think I've used my silver already. This would look cute like this. Like so. Right? Okay. So anywho, let's just recap. This was following this one. Ta-da! Totally different. Not at all really what the sketch said, but just it gives you a jumping off point. The other one, which has now gone, we followed our Pinspiration pretty straight, pretty forward. We started with this. This is a little more of what this card ended up like. But this one isn't really. We started with this and we ended up with that. From simple to complicated, but really not all that complicated. All right. Well, thanks for joining me tonight. I'm glad you were here. I will put the ideas up for you on the blog. They should be there later tonight or first thing in the morning. And I can't wait to see what you do. Have a great night, everybody. Bye.